Welcome to Here's How We Get There. It's the daily show filled with conversations about business and mental health in a down-to-earth style with real-world language. Now let's dive in with your co-hosts, Kenneth Shark-Kinney and Trey Tucker.
All right, Trey, a new study has found that reading for fun sharply declines around the age of 9. It's an alarming trend that really kind of coincides with the whole learning loss we experienced during the COVID pandemic. But a lot of data is showing that only 35% of 9-year-olds are reading at least 5 days a week, compared to 57% of 8-year-olds. This is according to a Scholastic survey on the issue, and Scholastic is a well-known brand in there. Pretty significant drop off. But a lot of that drop off is alarming, especially as we think about where people are consuming. It's not like anybody's saying their reading is getting worse. It's that they're not consuming the right amount of stuff. Obviously, a lot of this is taken up by video games and smartphones and sadly even apps at that age, but it has some real world implications. So what are your thoughts on this decline and with the value of what reading could do for a young person?
Yeah, that's the way I want to frame it, is the opportunity that reading can really give a young person, and obviously any person, but especially if you look at people in their teens and 20s who are standing out above their classmates, whether it be in grades or vocabulary or ability to think strategically and solve problems creatively. One of the main things they have in common is that they read a lot growing up and probably still read a lot, because all these other forms of media that you just mentioned, they don't ask the brain to do nearly as much. So many of those parts of the brain essentially are going offline and don't develop. So my goodness, just let's if you want to be purely financially motivated for a second as a parent, and you want your kid to be the richest, most quote unquote worldly successful kid. I'm not even saying that's the way to do it, the way that you should do it, but let's pretend that was the main goal. Make them read, but let them choose the books and force them to get away from those other temptations. Because of course, a book can't compete in the immediate moment with some of those screens, but my goodness, the success it can lead to, but even more importantly, the emotional well-being that can lead to, oh my goodness, the sky is the limit. So please, parents, keep your kids reading.
Yeah, I love a lot of things I do with technology, but I love nothing more than taking a great book or a great subject matter, if you will. And there are plenty of them out there, even old ones. My God, I could read Hemingway and Shakespeare and all these things, not because I'm told to do it, but because I want to do it. I want my brain to grow that way. And not necessarily making the kids read. Maybe it's not even the right way to say it or frame it sometimes. But I love your point about giving them the choice. You've got to motivate them to learn to want to read. That is the way to carry this forward. It's not forcing them into reading, but this can have real implications, especially to your point about it's really that they're being told what to do with a lot of the smartphones, the algorithms, all the things that we see in social media. A lot of this is the school disruptions, but giving your brain the creativity, which is incredibly powerful. I'd rather read about Chat GPT than get stuck on Chat GPT. You know what I mean? That kind of things to learn how to do it, as opposed to being told, here's what the internet told you to do. No, there's so much power in great reading and where it can lead for the rest of your life. I read every day. I read a book every day. Sometimes I read some of it on my phone, but I often read just a book of some form of or format every day. And I'll tell you that I think some of this also comes with the way the family unit has changed with kids, because one of the most rewarding things I'll ever do in my entire life is reading to my child. And he's past the age of 9 now. He's 32, but he still lets me read to him every night. No, I'm just kidding. He's not that old, but he's older than 9, and we still try to read a story as often as we can. He reads stories now to me, and he loves it. So there's so much more it will do for you in life than screen time and, disruptions at school and everything else.
Thank you for joining Shark and Trey on the Here's How We Get There show. Make sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the show and visit here'showwegetthere.com. That's here'showwegetthere.com.